I've been working remotely for a couple years now, and I've noticed some pros and cons. Maybe you're sitting at home right now and you're wondering if working remotely is for you. Well, in this video, I'm going to share all my pros and cons of working remotely. Is it worth it? Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Richardson and you're watching my channel where I share my travel and teach you how to work remotely and become a digital nomad. If you didn't know yet, I run an application development studio, so it allows me to work remotely and from different locations. Yes, sometimes I work from my client location, but most of the time I'm actually working remotely here in Toronto or around the world. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my pros and cons. So now, there is the obvious advantages. There is no commute. You can live a less stressful life because you don't have to work out of someone else's schedule, and you can make your own schedule, wake up whenever you want, almost whenever you want, because sometimes I have to wake up early to get into a meeting. But anyways, I actually get to plan my own day, and that makes me very happy. So I like to end with the good news. So I'm going to be starting with all the cons and obviously end up with the pros. Let's get right into it. I'm looking at the screen right now because I can't remember all the cons and all the pros. I kind of have to guide myself with a little note. The first thing that hit me when I got started is that you need a lot of self-discipline, because you need to schedule your day, decide when you have to wake up, when you have to actually do some work, when you need to take your break, and when you need to stop working. When you're working remotely, your schedule is up to you for most of the time. So you decide when you're going to wake up. So often in my own day, I tend to wake up around 8, 9 a.m., have breakfast, and then start working. You know those days when you wake up but you don't feel like going to work? Well, when you're working from home, that doesn't happen because you're already home. So you don't have anywhere to go to. You don't have to do a commute. So you're right there. So not working when you're working from home is a little bit harder. I found that the hardest thing is figuring out when you need to work, when you need to block out time to take your own break, and when you need to stop working. When I'm working on my client's work, for example, if I have to finish something because I don't have to commute, I end up working longer than I'm supposed to. If you're working from an office and you're looking around you, sometimes people start leaving the office, so you start realizing that maybe it's time for me to go home. But when you're working from home and you want to get something done, you end up just working on the thing on and on until you actually get it done. So I've noticed that sometimes the self-discipline is not just about making myself work or finding the time to make myself work, but it's also about stopping to work. There's such a fine line between your living experience, because you're literally working out of your living space, and your work time. Then it's very hard for you to find a fine line between when you need to stop working and not working when your home is your work. I've been working from home for so many years that I found some tricks that are really useful for me to actually be more self-disciplined. Is that a word? Anyways, so I found a way to be more self-disciplined. So one of the things that I noticed is in the past, when I would wake up and I'd be in my boxer, I would just go and sit in front of my desk and start working. And I noticed that it tend to make me more lazy when I do that. So nowadays, when I'm waking up and I have to start working, I first obviously take a shower, get my breakfast and all that, and then actually dress up. Actually dress up just like I'm going to the office. When I'm wearing those clothes, I'm actually conditioning my mind that now it's working time. The other way to actually be more self-disciplined when you're working from home is to have a schedule. So when is your day starting? When are you taking a break? And when are you stopping to work? So for me, I usually start working around 10, 9:30 or 10, usually it's 10. And then around noon, I take a regular break for an hour. And after that, I continue working until 6 p.m. After 6 p.m., there's no more work for me. So usually my day, because I know that it ends at 6 p.m., I tend to end work close to that. So around 5:30, I get ready to actually stop working. Okay, so that was my first cons and the tips to work around it. Next one. If you didn't know yet, I'm more of an extrovert. I get a lot of energies around people. So one of the other cons that I found about working remotely is that it can be very lonely, because the only thing that you're interacting with is this thing right here, this computer. That's it. That's your best friend. But it's true, you know, we are in a modern time, and obviously you can chat, you know, you can Slack. So the relationship building happen on your computer. I found that it can be very, very challenging to do relationship building when you're working remotely. Most of the interaction happen through chat and through emails. And some companies that don't use Slack, which makes it a lot more fun to communicate with people, actually just use email. And it's a weird thing to actually communicate with someone when just doing back and forth. You're sending email, hey, hi, I hope you're doing well today. Here's the work that I've done for the week. And then, you know, it's just not the same thing. It's not as fun. Obviously, you have to kind of go out of your way sometimes to communicate with people, to communicate with the entire team. I found that when you're working in an office, it can be very, very distracting. People interrupt you, ask questions, or you get into a debate with your coworker, or you're sharing a story, or you're cracking a joke, or you're going to the kitchen and start a conversation with someone. That doesn't really happen when you're working from home. Most of the time, you actually end up just, you know, being here, quiet, and getting work done. So it's like a con that is also a pro, because you are not really building relationship, but at the same time, you're getting more work done. All right, so the last con I want to share in this video is that one of the biggest burden of working remotely is building trust. Building trust with the company that you're working for, or building trust with your colleague, your coworker. When you're working remotely, you feel that you have a much bigger responsibility to actually deliver, to make sure that your work gets noticed at the end of the week. People are often afraid that when they're hiring someone remotely that the person is not actually getting work done. But guess what? If the person is not getting work done, they have nothing to show. When you see people getting into the office, even though sometimes it might look like they're working, that might not necessarily be the case, and you don't know. I would actually rather hire someone remotely that is getting work done on schedule than someone that is coming to the office every single day and pretending to work. I know there are so many people out there that are worried that when they're hiring someone to work remotely, that person won't actually get work done. So remember the next time that you're hiring someone, that person has a responsibility to deliver, to prove to the company that they're actually working. So that pressure alone is enough for them to get shit done. All right, so we just covered all the cons of working remotely. So now I actually want to talk about some of the pros. When I started working remotely, I noticed one major thing that changed about my patterns. So usually when I'm working from an office, I tend to skip breakfast because I have to commute. So because I don't want to get late to work, I actually end up just skipping breakfast altogether. But since I've been working remotely, I've noticed that every morning I take the time to be healthy, to go to the gym and to make breakfast and to eat right before I start working. As a remote worker, you have more flexibility around your schedule. And removing this entire waste of time of commuting, where sometimes people are commuting for an hour or 2 hours for one town to the other. When you don't have to worry about that, you actually make more time for other stuff. And in my case, I'm utilizing this commute time to actually not only sometimes start working earlier and sometimes trying to be more healthy about my overall day. What I like about the flexibility is that it's not just limited around when you're working, it's also about where you're working. So you can literally work from anywhere. You can work from a coffee shop down the street, you can work from a different country, from a different time zone, from a different weather, a different environment altogether. This is one of my favorite things about the work remote lifestyle. I really love the flexibility. I don't know about you, but removing the stress of commuting is making my day a lot less stressful. Also, if you had a long night and you don't feel like waking up early, you can actually sleep 30 minutes longer or an hour longer, which is really nice. I have to admit, it's a lot more relaxed to wake up without having the pressure to walk to work and knowing that you're never gonna be late to work. Among the other things that I love about working remotely is the fact that I'm actually saving a lot more money. So when I'm working out of an office, I take Uber every single day to work. And I think this is why Uber started to give me $5 off. I don't drive in a city. I either use Uber or use another way of transportation, but I try to avoid the transit because when you pay per hour, you want to get to work as soon as possible. The clock starts when you get to the office, so you don't want to waste that in transit, especially when what you're making per hour is not comparable to what you're making or losing during that time of transit. You can save money on transit, you can save money on food because you don't have to get lunch during your break. And you know, some of you probably bring lunch to work, I know, but you don't have to do that. So you can save money. I'm obviously maybe biased because I've been doing that for so long and I really enjoy working remotely. But I have to say that in today's world, there's almost no reason for people to working out of an office if the work that is doing is on a computer. Nowadays with the cloud, with video chat and all those different features available to us, all these different applications, there's absolutely no reason for you to get to the office. Some people out there often argue that it's harder for people to brainstorm when they're working remotely, and I disagree. If you can see someone on the screen, you can definitely brainstorm with them remotely, even if you have to doodle on something. If you're doodling out of the board or drawing something on the board, just put the board behind you and thumb it with your camera, and then done deal. So you can definitely brainstorm remotely, and you don't need to see people in person in order for your brain to work. I've brainstormed with people on different design concepts through a chat, even through WhatsApp with some of my friends. So I don't agree with the fact that you need to be in office to brainstorm. Yes, if you need to bounce ideas, just do a video chat with multiple people. You don't need to be there. Like, I would love to brainstorm with you from the Bahamas. Like, I don't mind that. But why do I need to be there in the office? So is it worth it? Well, I don't know. You tell me. My personal experience from working remotely has been absolutely fantastic, and I would recommend it to everyone. Comment in the section below. Let me know what you think based on the pros and cons that I just shared. If you feel that you're able to be self-disciplined, or if you feel that you're able to be okay of being sometimes lonely and making friends in a different way, or not getting closer to your coworker. If you feel that you don't have to have people interaction in order to get work done, then I think that working remotely might be worth it for you. But obviously it's a personal choice. Comment in the section below if you can think of any other cons or pros of working remotely. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you've done it, or if this is something that you're contemplating doing, let me know. I really appreciate all your comments, and again, if you want to be featured on the comment winner section, just comment in the section below and I'll feature you. Thank you guys for watching. Shout out to the comment winner from last week, by the way. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you want to see more content like this one, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. One more thing, if you want to travel the world and learn how to work remotely or become a digital nomad, join the conversation, join the Rich Nation. If you have a question, don't hesitate to ask, because we won't hesitate to answer. Adios.